I thought the silence after the car seizure would last. It didn't. By Monday, the texts started pouring in. Mom, your grandfather would be ashamed of you. Dad, we gave you everything, and this is how you repay us. Even Blake chimed in with, "Unenjoy your little power trip. You'll be back when you need something." I didn't respond. Instead, I focused on Phoenix Holdings. I rented a modest co-working space, hired 2 freelance developers, people who, like me, had been overlooked too many times. We started refining the prototype Grandpa had always encouraged me to pursue. And for the first time in years, I woke up not dreading the day. Still, the guilt attempts kept coming. One afternoon, Kai and I were setting up our cloud server plan when he looked at his phone and smirked. "Guess who cornered me at the grocery store?" he said. I raised an eyebrow. "Let me guess. Monica Thomas." He nodded. "She told me you were being manipulated, that I was turning you against your own blood." I scoffed. "They're really going with that angle now." She actually said, "Noah used to be such a good boy." I didn't laugh. Not this time, because deep down, I realized good had always meant quiet, obedient, useful. The moment I stopped being those things, I became the villain in their story. A few days later, Mom texted me again. "It's Blake's birthday. We're having a small dinner. It would mean a lot if you came." For a moment, I hesitated. I don't know why. Maybe some rusted part of me still wanted to believe in reconciliation. But I called her. I wanted her to hear it directly. "Mom," I said steady. "I'm not coming, and I'm not coming back. Not for birthdays, not for dinners, not for pretending things are okay." She was silent for a moment. Then, "So you're just going to throw your family away?" "No," I said. "You already did. When you decided I didn't matter unless I was useful." I hung up. Then I blocked the number. I haven't heard from them since. And honestly, I don't need to. The people who choose you only when it's convenient never really chose you at all. Now, I'm building something real, with people who see me, respect me, and don't expect me to shrink for their comfort. Grandpa once told me, "The quiet ones build the strongest walls." He was wrong about one thing, though. I didn't build a wall. I built a life, and I made damn sure they're not in it. It started on a Sunday, just a casual family lunch, lasagna in the oven, lauder in the kitchen, and Sophie, Nathan's fiancée, pouring wine like she owned the place. She's charming, I'll give her that. The kind of woman who remembers birthdays, compliments outfits, and laughs at every dad joke like it's brand new. I used to like her. I really did. Until she looked at me over that glass of wine and said, "So, Elena, what are you doing with your trust fund?" I blinked. "What do you mean?" She smiled, sweet and sharp. "You know, the one from your grandfather. The one that kicks in when you turn 35. My parents fell silent. Nathan shifted in his seat. I kept my tone neutral. "Nothing yet. It's for later. If I ever want to start a clinic or buy a place of my own." Sophie tilted her head like she was puzzled. "Oh, I just thought, with the wedding coming up and all the expenses." She didn't finish. She didn't have to. Nathan let out a nervous laugh, like maybe she was joking. But she wasn't laughing. She just looked at me, expectantly. I glanced at my parents, hoping someone would cut the tension. Dad cleared his throat. "Well, the money's not available yet," he said carefully. "And it was left to Elena, so it's not really something to discuss." I nodded, grateful. The subject dropped, for that moment. But something had shifted, like a quiet thread had been pulled loosely, and none of us noticed how far it would unravel. A week later, it came up again. This time, it's just me and Sophie in the kitchen after dinner. She was drying dishes. I was putting away leftovers. And she said, "I just think it's beautiful that you've been given such a gift. Not many people have that." I smiled politely, unsure where this was going. Then she added, "Families are about sharing blessings, aren't they?" I didn't answer. Because what do you even say to that? She didn't stop. "Nathan and I, we're not asking for everything. But even just a little help with the down payment would mean the world, especially from you." I placed the Tupperware in the fridge and turned to face her. "I understand," I said calmly. "But the money's locked until I'm 35. Even then, I have plans for it." Her lips curled slightly. "Of course. I just assumed you'd want to support your brother, considering everything he's been through." That hit me wrong. What had he been through? Dropping out? Partying? Not holding a job for more than 6 months? But I didn't argue. I just said, "I have supported him more than you know," and walked away. Later that night, I got a text from Nathan. "Hey, Sophie told me what happened. She didn't mean to pressure you, but she's not wrong either." I stared at the screen. Not wrong. I thought about the bills I'd covered for him. The time I sold my own car so Mom and Dad could keep theirs. The night I skipped sleep to prep his job application portfolio. And now, they wanted more. No, something about that night stayed with me. The look in Sophie's eyes, she wasn't just hoping. She was planning. And for the first time in a long time, I realized I wasn't just the older sister. I was at the bank. It wasn't just that one night. It never is. After that awkward kitchen moment, things shifted. Not all at once, but slowly, like a faucet leaking. At the next family dinner, Sophie brought homemade cupcakes, labeled them with little flags that said, bride and groom. Cute, right? Until she handed me one and said, this one's for our guardian angel. We're so lucky to have someone like you in the family. Everyone smiled. Mom laughed. And I just swallowed it. I knew what she meant. She wasn't thanking me. She was cornering me with compliments and carefully rehearsed charm. Nathan stayed quiet, but he didn't stop her either. A few days later, I stopped by the house to drop off groceries for Mom. Dad was out back, fixing the shed. As I placed apples in the fridge, Mom casually said, you know, Sophie just wants to feel welcome. She really looks up to you. I didn't look up from the bag. She has a funny way of showing it. Mom's voice softened. She doesn't mean any harm. She just sees you in such a strong position, and well, it's natural to wish she could lean on you a little. I turned. Lean on me. Or take something that was never hers. Mom's smile faltered. Alana, she said, with a tone I hadn't heard in years, that money came from your grandfather. Yes, but he always said family should take care of each other. Nathan's starting a new life. And you. I've been taking care of this family, I said. Since I was 19, Mom looked away. That night, I sat in my apartment and stared at the ceiling. I wasn't angry yet. Not fully. Just confused. Wounded. How did we get here? How did I become the one who needed to defend herself for not giving away something she'd earned? It didn't stop. The next weekend, I visited Aunt Marie's house for a cousin's baby shower. Sophie was already there, holding court in the living room, laughing, glowing. When I walked in, she called across the room. There she is! The woman with the golden ticket. People turned. Some chuckled. I smiled. Tight. My name works just fine. Aunt Marie pulled me aside later, brows raised. So, what's this I hear about a trust fund? You helping with the wedding? I blinked. I hadn't told anyone. Not even my closest cousin. But Sophie had. And not in a whisper. She'd broadcasted it. By the following week, the story had a life of its own. One uncle asked if I was planning to give a generous gift. A cousin texted me a picture of a mansion and said, this is what you're buying after saying no to your brother. That one stung. Because I wasn't buying anything. I wasn't spending a dime. I was just keeping what was mine. Nathan. He never defended me. Never stepped in to say, hey, leave my sister alone. Or, it's her money. He just nodded. Smiled, shrugged, like silence made him innocent. It didn't. One evening, I called him. I needed to hear it from his own mouth. Do you really think I should give you that money? I asked. He paused, then said, I think it would mean a lot to Sophie. And to Mom and Dad. It would show that you believe in us. I was quiet. He added, you've always been the responsible one. I guess that's why we thought, if anyone could afford to help, it's you. Afford. As if I didn't pay in other ways. As if emotional exhaustion and years of sacrifice weren't currency. That night, I realized something. They didn't see me. Not really. Not the years I gave. The birthdays I worked through. The holidays I spent alone on night shift. They saw a number in a bank account. And an opportunity. And suddenly, I wasn't their daughter or their sister. I was a resource. It was Nathan's idea. Let's have lunch, he said one morning. Just the three of us. You, me, and Sophie. No pressure. Just catching up. I hesitated. But part of me still wanted to believe this could be fixed. That maybe, just maybe, my brother would hear me out. Without Sophie in his ear, without the family in the background. So I said yes. We met at a quiet cafe downtown. Corner table, lemon water, polite smiles. Sophie was glowing again, this time in white and gold. She looked like she'd already decided the ending of the story. She just needed me to act out my part. Nathan made small talk. Asked about work, my car, the weather. I answered. Waited. Then, after the food came and the waiter walked away, Sophie leaned in. Mia, she said, folding her hands. We've been thinking. Oh, what if, she continued, you gave us half, just like that. No build-up, no sugarcoating, just half. Half of a fund I couldn't even touch yet. Half of the only safety net I had. I stared at her, then looked at Nathan. He didn't correct her. Didn't flinch. He just said, you'd still have enough left for your plans, and this would really help us start our life. Sophie nodded. It wouldn't even hurt you, she added. Not really. But for us, it would mean everything. I set my fork down. I folded my napkin and said just that. No. Sophie blinked. Nathan frowned. You don't even want to think about it, he asked, voice tighter. I have thought about it, I said, and the answer is no. Not half. Not a portion. Not now. Not ever. Sophie sat back. I see, she said coldly. So much for family. A few days later, Mom called. We need to talk. I knew what was coming. Still, I went. I hoped, stupidly, that maybe, just maybe, I'd be heard. But when I walked into the house, Nathan and Sophie were already there, sitting on the couch, like they were waiting for me. Dad stood by the fireplace, hands in pockets. Mom was making tea, her nervous habit. Sit down, Elena, she said. I didn't. What is this? I asked. Dad cleared his throat. We're all feeling some tension, he began, and we just want to find a way to move forward. I looked at Sophie. She gave me that same practiced smile. Nathan spoke next. We're not demanding anything, he said, but maybe there's a compromise. Like what? I asked, crossing my arms. Sophie answered. Not half, just enough to help. A gesture of support, something that shows you believe in us. That word again. Support. Like I hadn't spent years supporting this family in ways they'd forgotten. Dad spoke next. Maya, no one's pressuring you. But this could go a long way toward healing. Sometimes peace is more important than principle. That broke something in me. Peace, I said quietly. You think this is about peace? I turned to my brother. You've let her twist everything. You've let her turn our family into a negotiation, and you're asking me to fund it. Nathan looked away. Sophie stood. If you won't help us, she said, just say it. But don't pretend you're some victim. You're not the only one who's sacrificed. Mom stepped forward. Sweetheart, please. We're just trying to hold this family together. I shook my head. No, you're trying to hold them together. And you're willing to break me to do it. I walked out. Not one of them followed. Not even Nathan. Not even Mom. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling again. But this time, I wasn't confused. I was furious. Because it wasn't just about money anymore. It was about how little they thought of me, how easy it was to ask, how little it cost them to sacrifice me. The morning after that so-called family meeting, I made coffee and called a lawyer. I didn't even hesitate, not because I wanted war, but because I was done playing nice in a game I never agreed to. I found someone local, estate law. A woman named Jennifer. She listened. Quietly. No raised eyebrows, no patronizing smiles, just quiet note-taking and the occasional, When I finished, she sat back and said, Elena, what are they doing? That's harassment. And if Sophie is spreading details about your finances, that could border on defamation or breach of privacy. I didn't expect it to hit that hard. Harassment. The word felt foreign, but accurate. Jennifer pulled out a folder, gave me a checklist. Start documenting everything. Text messages, emails, voicemails, even vague social media posts. If this continues, we'll send a cease and desist. I nodded, and for the first time in weeks, I felt in control. I went home. Pulled up every text I'd saved from Sophie and Nathan. The guilt trips, the manipulative phrasing, the not so subtle, just think of the family lines. I printed them all. Created a folder, labeled it protecting myself. But I wasn't ready for what came next. Sophie got bolder. She started posting little jabs online. Quotes like, some people hoard blessings and call it independence. Family should lift each other up, not sit on their golden thrones. She didn't use my name. She didn't have to. Mutual friends messaged me. Is she talking about you? She's been going on about the wedding fund for weeks. Even a coworker pulled me aside. Just so you know. She whispered. Someone called HR asking about your salary, said they were a relative. That night, I sat on my couch, shaking. It wasn't just annoying anymore. It was violating. I called Jennifer, told her everything. She didn't even pause. We're sending the letter. The next morning I signed a cease and desist. It was clean. Professional. Firm. It spelled out Sophie's behavior, unwanted financial pressure, public commentary, private probing. It ended with a warning: stop now or face legal consequences. 3 days later, my phone rang. Nathan. He didn't even say hello. What the hell, Elena? He snapped. You sent a legal letter to Sophie. Do you know how embarrassing this is for us? I took a breath. She's been harassing me for weeks. Nathan, you think I wanted to do this? She was just trying to explain her side, he barked. This is about family, not lawyers. I bit my tongue, then said, if it's about family, why did she call HR pretending to be one? Silence. Then, she told me that wasn't her. Right, I said flatly. She also told Aunt Marie that I was buying a beach house. Click. He hung up. Hours later, Mom called. Her voice was sharp. You didn't have to make this legal, Elena. We could have talked like adults. I did talk, I said. None of you listened. She sighed. I just don't understand how it came to this. I do, I said quietly. You all let it. After that, silence. For a few days it was blissful. No texts, no guilt trips, no passive-aggressive posts, just quiet. Until it wasn't. On a Thursday night, I got a message from my cousin Jenna. You might want to check the family group chat. I opened it. And there it was. A message from Nathan, meant for Sophie, sent by mistake, to everyone. It read, "I found the messages you sent to your friends about Alina. Are you serious? You've been bragging about securing the bag this whole time." Attached were screenshots. Emma. Sorry. Sophie had messaged a friend. Don't worry, her parents will push her eventually. She's too soft to hold out forever. And another. Elena's too focused on her little nurse dreams to realize this money was always meant to be shared. The chat exploded. Mom, Sophie, what is this? Is this true? Dad, you said you were trying to work it out. Were you lying to us? Sophie replied. You're all taking it out of context. I was venting. This is being blown way out of proportion. No one responded. Not this time. That night, Nathan called me again. His voice was shaky. Elena, I didn't mean for you to see that. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I asked. I didn't know it was that bad. I just found the messages. I was going to confront her privately. You've had weeks, I said. I let her manipulate me, he admitted. I thought she just wanted to feel supported. I didn't know she was this. I didn't scream, didn't cry. I just said, fixing this is going to take more than apologies. He said he understood, and I hung up. After the group chat blew up, I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. The screenshots spoke louder than I ever could. The next morning, I heard from Laura, my cousin. She told me the family chat had lit up after I left. Uncles, cousins, everyone had something to say. Some apologized, quietly. Others just went silent. But the tide had turned. For once, they weren't looking at me like I was the problem. They were looking at her. Sophie, of course, wasn't done. She started calling people, trying to control the story. She misunderstood. I was all a joke. Elena took everything too seriously. But the screenshots, they weren't jokes. They were plans, blueprints, calculated manipulation. Even the ones who wanted to believe her couldn't. 3 days passed. Then Nathan showed up at my door, in person. No, Sophie, just him, alone, holding a grocery bag with tea and ginger biscuits, my favorite. I didn't say a word. He just stood there, eyes rimmed red. I ended it, he said. I let him in. We sat on my couch. He didn't sugarcoat it. I let her twist things. I let her talk about you like you were selfish. Like you owed us something. He shook his head. I don't know why I didn't stop it. Maybe I liked feeling like someone needed me. Maybe I was scared of losing her. I didn't interrupt, he continued. But seeing those messages, it was like waking up from something and realizing the damage wasn't just between her and you. He looked up. She used me, and I let her hurt you. I nodded. I tried to tell you. I know, he whispered. I didn't listen. We sat in silence for a while. No fixing, no hugging. Just stillness, a shared grief for what had broken. Later that night, I got a message from Mom. Just 4 words, can we talk soon? I didn't answer. Not yet. I needed time. Not for revenge, not for control, but to breathe. For once that weekend I heard Sophie's wedding was officially canceled. The venue, gone. The dress, returned. Vendors, pulled out. No more dream wedding. Apparently, she'd banked on me funding her fantasy. And when the money didn't come, everything collapsed. She stopped showing up to family events, deleted her social media, disappeared. And honestly, it was a relief. But here's the thing. Her exit didn't erase the damage. Not really. The worst cuts didn't come from Sophie. They came from my own family. From my mother, who chose peace over protection. From my father, who stood in the middle and called it balance. From Nathan, who let someone else speak louder than blood. A week later, Mom visited. She didn't knock, just appeared at the door with tulips and tearful eyes. I'm sorry, she said. I should have believed you sooner. She placed the flowers down. I let her charm blind me. And I let the weight fall on you, like it always has. She reached for my hand. I can't take it back. But I want to do better. I nodded. That was enough. For now. I told her I was drawing new boundaries. No more financial questions. No more family favors. No more guilt for saying no. She agreed. So did Dad. And Nathan. He started therapy. We're not fixed. We're not whole. But we're not pretending anymore. And that's a start. For the first time in years, I've been sleeping through the night. No text at 2 a.m., no calls begging for help. No whispers behind my back. Just silence and a space to rebuild. On my terms. It's been 3 months. And I haven't looked back. The house is quieter. The phone doesn't buzz with guilt trips. And the silence, it feels like peace. Nathan sends the occasional text. He's rebuilding. Slowly. I wish him well. We're not close. Not yet. But we're no longer pretending. And that means something. Mom checks in every Sunday now. She doesn't ask for anything. Just ask how I'm doing. It still catches me off guard. But I answer. Because some things can heal, if given time. As for me, I started writing a business plan. For that clinic I always dreamed of. It might take a few more years. But I'm doing it. For me. Not because someone asked. Not because someone needed saving. Just because I want to. That's the biggest lesson in all this. Sometimes, love isn't about how much you give. It's about knowing when to stop giving to the ones who only take. I didn't burn the bridge, but I walked away. And for once, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free.